On the homepage. Oh, I think we're live. I'm not sure.
Hi.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Mitch, and this is Greg, and we're the creators of AsapSCIENCE. And give me a second, and we're going to go start telling people that we are streaming right now.
Right.
Okay. 1 second. We're live. Come hang out with us. Okay, let's see if that works.
Come on, people.
Is it working? There are 0. Oh, here. Okay, I think people are coming now. Hey guys.
Hi.
You're sending out a tweet. Okay. We are live. Come and join us for a Q&A. Bye. Hopefully that works. Hey guys, so we are just hosting a live session to let you guys see some faces behind AsapSCIENCE. Both of us are here. I'm Mitch, and that's Greg.
I'm Greg.
And we just figured we could, let you guys ask questions, and we have some questions we want to ask you guys. So if you go on either Facebook or Twitter, you can shoot a question over to us, and we'll hopefully answer it. And we'll keep checking, we have our Twitter open and our Facebook open, and just hopefully those links that I sent out are working. Give me a sec. I might actually have to do that again. But yeah, so jump on Twitter, jump on Facebook, and ask us sort of anything that you feel like asking. And Greg, I'm going to let you look at the questions for a minute while I try and figure out how to share this video now.
So, should I go on Twitter?
Yeah, see, okay, here's, okay, that is working. Why doesn't that seem to want to work? Hopefully that's working. I'm not sure. Let's ask on Twitter. Does the link work? Cool. Well, we got a bunch of people here.
Someone asked, if you've grown so fast, what is the secret to your success?
I think, well, both of us just really, really love science. And I think the first key, if you have a YouTube channel of your own, is to actually just really care about what you're doing. And, we both were obsessed. We both went to university together, and we're obsessed with science, and just, loved sharing it with our friends and loved doing that sort of thing. So key number one, I think, is being passionate about it and caring that people are going to see it. But also, I think we work really hard, and we share the videos as much as we can, and we send them out, and we try and get people to see them. And you think of websites and blogs that are relevant to the topic that you're doing or the video that you're doing, and you send it to them, and just having kind of topics that people are interested in. I think lots of people maybe don't know they love science, but they know they love learning about the things about your body, and there's certainly lots of quirky topics we've covered, and so I think that's definitely helped our whole shtick.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the content of the videos. Because if you think about it, there are things that people want to know and things that people want to know the answers to, and the only way you can explain them most properly is through science. So I think it is also marketing properly to blogs and stuff that are interested in science, but also making sure your videos are about things that everyone can relate to.
Cool. I'm just noticing a bunch more people are coming in now. So for those who just joined us, my name's Mitch, and I'm the hands of AsapSCIENCE, if you recognize them, and the voice. And then I'll let Greg introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm the other half of AsapSCIENCE, and I'm currently actually teaching and involved in education. And one of the questions we just got is, are you students, or what do you do for work? And what would you do if you weren't making videos? So I guess for me, I'm not a student, and I'm a teacher. So if I wasn't making videos, I would be teaching as well. So right now I'm in the UK teaching science. If you would.
And for me, I was a student, and I finished university, and then I had a couple different jobs, but now this has become sort of my full-time shtick, which is pretty cool. We only started about 6 months ago, but it's going really, really fast, and thanks to all you guys for sharing it and doing all that sorts of stuff. So now that we've got, an audience and people who will look at our videos and watch them and share them, it's become sort of my full-time job, and I had a chance to go out to the YouTube headquarters and work with some people there, and so now ASAP Science is basically my life. So.
Someone just asked, tell your funniest college story.
What's our funniest college story? We went to university together, for those who don't know, so we probably, I don't know, I'm trying to think of, like, what is the funny story. You can take that one, Greg.
What should I say?
I'm sure we're trying to stay appropriate here, right?
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to post on Facebook again.
I guess I could talk about when my cell phone went off 3 times in a lecture.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny.
My friend decided to call me 3 times because her roommate wasn't putting out the garbage bin, which is a big deal, apparently. And my cell phone went off 3 times, and the professor called me out twice, and there was a lecture of like 1,000 kids. It was awful. And I blush, so if you haven't seen the video, why we blush? That was somewhat because of me.
Yeah, that was
I turned like purple.
So basically, also, I was like literally sitting beside Greg in that class, and it was when 1,000 people stare at you and the teacher stops lecturing. It's embarrassing for anyone associated with that person.
Okay.
And I think it was weird because like 2 other people's cell phones had gone off in that class, so I think he was like the last straw. And when Greg's phone went off, it was like everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And he.
It kept going.
No worries. By the way, I'm going to introduce some people that are here with me. This is Tessa.
Hi.
And this is Ilona.
Hi.
And so they are just trying to help us. They're looking through your Twitter questions and your Facebook questions if you have any. So just share those and we'll keep checking through. And let's see, what's another question that has popped?
Someone said you're approaching 300,000 subscribers. Do you plan on doing a special of sorts? I didn't think
really thought of it. It's kind of come out of the blue. Like we, less than a month ago, had less than 200,000. So now it's like, oh gosh, I hadn't thought of that. But maybe I think.
It depends what date it falls on or what
That's
week.
true. Yeah, because sometimes we like to put videos to certain days, or yeah, it's like hard to predict when are we going to actually hit that 300,000. But yeah, give us some suggestions. What would you like to see? Like what? Is there anything that, as viewers, like what's your most desired topic that we haven't covered yet, or that could be related to hitting a landmark, and what could we do that would be fun?
You can, and also you can always send questions to the Facebook messages, because we do check those, and we do take them into consideration. We have a long list of suggestions based on what you guys have written in the Facebook.
Yeah, basically, any questions you ask, we write down and keep, and we try to keep track of like which questions have been asked a lot, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. And sometimes we just do videos because we love the topic and we think it'd be cool for all you guys to know. But don't think that we don't read every single suggestion, whether it's a Facebook private message or an email or a YouTube message or anything like that. So always shoot off your suggestions. One person asked, "What did we study at university?" We both actually studied biological science, and I really loved the genetics courses and focused on that, and then Greg did a minor in art as well.
Yeah, I did my major in biological science and a minor in visual art, so like painting and sculpture. And yeah, we mostly did focus on genetics and physiology.
Yeah. But the irony is that I also, like now that Greg's teaching in the UK now, and I'm in Canada, in Toronto, so we kind of do these videos at a distance, and I do most of the filming now, and so I'm the one who has to draw now, so I've been shaping up my...
You're getting good at drawing.
Yeah, I actually feel like it's getting better, so hopefully you guys can stand the cheesy little drawings and stuff that obviously there's not very much skill behind them, but...
When you drew, the jackknife, that, for noise, for the spidey sense, good perspective.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I don't know, yeah. Usually I look at other pictures as an example for how to sort of, draw certain things or anything like that.
I taught you that.
What's that?
Didn't I teach you that?
Probably, yeah. It's helpful if you can look at it, and then you get the coordination and the skill in your hand over time. But you have no idea how many times I redraw things because they're so bad. Like, when I first start, I like filming, and it will just, look nothing like it. So the video recording process actually takes a while because of that. Like I have to do it over and over, and I'm like, oh my god, they won't even know what that is at first.
Somebody asked if you have Tumblr.
Oh, do we have a Tumblr? Yes, we do. We just started it recently. It is AsapSCIENCE.tumblr.com. So you can head to AsapSCIENCE.tumblr.com if you want to follow us. Yeah, we just started it, so we try and reblog some cool science stuff and post our videos and stuff up there. So you're welcome to follow us there. For anyone who doesn't know, we have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/AsapScience, and a Twitter page, which is twitter.com/AsapScience. Yeah, actually, one thing I want to ask you guys, and the reason we kind of want to host this is because I actually have some questions for people out there who want to answer it. So we created this little survey. It's 10 quick questions. Most of them are just multiple choice. Basically, just to get your feedback on what's happening with ASAP Science, what type of videos you like the most, and just a variety of other topics. So I'll get that link right now, and I'm going to tweet it. Let's see. And so if you have the time, it would be awesome if you can go there now or after we're done the Hangout and just fill out the results for that. And then we'll get a sense of like what you guys think and what you actually want to see in those videos, apart from what you've already told us in the comments and stuff.
Someone said, what are some of your favorite educational channels on YouTube?
Greg, do you have any in particular? I have a bunch, but I'm going to do this tweet first, and then I'll answer that question.
I love Ask Amy, like those Amy Poehler sort of vlog things that she's been doing. She does them like every week or bi-weekly. And they're not so much educational, but I think they're sort of inspirational for girls. And it's kind of interesting to see her in a new light. I mean, she's not usually being that funny. She's usually being quite serious and tackling issues about self-esteem. And I like watching those. I think they're really interesting. And I guess she's a celebrity as well, so that's kind of fun to watch. What about you?
I have a lot of my favorite ones are the other like science YouTubers. So like the Vlog Brothers and all their educational channels are amazing. I don't know how they managed to run so many at once. There's Minute Physics, who obviously is a huge inspiration on us. There's Vsauce, Periodic Videos, 60 Symbols, Veritasium, all those guys, Viheart. They all have literally some of the best videos I've seen on the internet, and obviously they cover the topics that I enjoy and hopefully you guys enjoy as well. So if you haven't heard of those guys, you should definitely check them out.
You mentioned Minute Physics. Somebody says, I heard you met with them. Is there some sort of collaboration?
Oh, yes. I met with Minute Physics yesterday. And that was just, like, we just realized that we actually live really close. So I literally just drove over to the next city. I had met him maybe a couple months ago at a YouTube event, and that's when we sort of realized, like, we're so close in the same country, like, we should definitely hang out sometime. So we got together. No specific ideas for collaboration. We more just wanted to meet and see, you know, get each other's opinions on YouTube and like what we're doing and just, you know, get to know each other first. It's always nice to know someone before you just jump into collaboration mode to see if you can become friends and if it can work. So we'll see what happens there. No promises, but you never know. Hopefully, we'd love to collaborate with Minute Physics or like any of the other science YouTubers. So go tweet them and tell them that they should collaborate with us, and then maybe they will.
Do either of you have a psychology background?
Greg, do you have a psychology background?
Not really, no. But I took a psychology course in Teachers College, which was sort of the psychology of education, which was kind of interesting. I was talking a lot about like Piaget's theory and things like that. So it was a really short course about psychology in the realms of education. And that's actually where I read a book about brain plasticity, which led to Mitch reading a book about brain plasticity, which kind of led to the most recent video, because that is sort of a psychological kind of field.
And I have that book right here. Yeah, no, I don't have a background in psychology, but one thing I think that doing a science degree, and hopefully anyone else there who's done, you know, kept studying in school, makes you realize is that you really can learn anything, and the reason the internet is so amazing is because of that. And are we still working?
I don't know.
Hopefully the video is still working. We're not sure if we're still online. Hopefully right.
No, yeah, we can see it.
I mean, you literally can just jump in and go on the internet, and YouTube videos provide a way to learn things that you maybe never could before, even if it's like an instrument or something. So, you know, I encourage you guys, you know, go find channels. If you love psychology, I don't have a background in it. Some of our videos intertwine some of that stuff because I'm reading about it and I love learning about it and whatnot. But overall, just get out there and learn as much as you can. And there's so many resources on the internet that it's amazing.
If somebody finds a mistake or something that they disagree with in your videos, what's the best way for them to
Okay. Yeah. So if you ever find a mistake in our videos, usually there aren't, and usually it's just points of contention. But you can always email us or tweet us or Facebook us and let us know. And we try and, like, there's been minor mistakes before. We just put an annotation over top if it was like a spelling mistake, which I do more often than I like to admit.
Remember, we missed that.
Yeah.
We didn't put a beep.
Our email is asapscience@gmail.com. So if you see an issue, and if you have a concern, or you just want to talk and clear something out, then just shoot us an email, and we can either clarify, or you can point out to us what you think the issue is, and hopefully it wasn't an actual mistake, and maybe we just didn't explain it the best way. It can be hard to explain it all when you have like a couple minutes or 3 minutes to explain it, and so sometimes, absolutely, I don't always see the perspective of someone who's learning it for the first time with only our videos. So definitely, we love to sort of hear the feedback and the constructive criticism.
Or any more questions. If you have questions, just let us know. We can.
Yeah, and regarding that, like, that's part of the reason we just sent out that Survey Monkey. So if you do go to twitter.com/AsapScience, I'll actually post it on Facebook as well in a minute, but basically there's some questions in there that sort of touch on, are there issues with AsapSCIENCE that you don't like, or things that you'd rather change, or something like that.
Hangout link on Facebook.
Oh, did I put the Hangout link on Facebook? I think it,
Did I lose it?
let's see, scroll down a bit there. It should be, oh.
Where's the link?
Okay, sorry guys, I'm not sure. Oh, did I just die? Hey, Greg, are you there?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, sorry, I thought my internet cut out. Just a warning, the internet might cut out for those of you who are watching. It cut out earlier, so if that happens, we'll just restart it again. You can come in and join us. Awesome, we got a bunch of new Tumblr followers, which is awesome, so thanks for signing up for Tumblr, guys. That's pretty cool. Hopefully that will be entertaining for you as well, and that's a cool spot where we can, kind of post our pre-research and stuff, and you might get an insight into what videos are coming up. I'm not sure. It looks like on my screen I have posted the link on Facebook. I'm just going to refresh and see if it's there on mine. Greg, do you see any other questions?
Somebody asked earlier about what inspired you to start AsapSCIENCE.
Well, we found that throughout university, and even before, we were constantly sort of hanging out with our friends, talking about science, explaining concepts to them that we thought they would find interesting. And it was sort of just something that we enjoyed doing. And obviously, I was interested in teaching, and I was influencing Mitch about things I was learning in teaching college. And Mitch had all this sort of film background and started to really get involved with YouTube. And we sort of just kind of thought of this idea last June, I guess a bit before June, and we just sort of started doing it. And it just ended up working out perfectly. I don't know if you have other things to say.
Yeah, no. At first, it was just like, hey, like YouTube's pretty cool, and I was a huge fan of a bunch of those YouTubers I mentioned earlier, like the science ones, and was like, whoa, it's really awesome that I keep hearing that kids aren't interested in school anymore and people don't love learning, but on the internet it's the exact opposite experience, and all these people are watching these videos and sharing them and loving them, and it was like I would love to be part of that, and I love science, and I'd love to share that with other people. And Greg and I were like, this is a pretty amazing medium to sort of reach to people that we could never reach before. That was like in our circle and outside of our circle. So that's what started it, and we just sort of made a video and started posting them and whatnot. So.
And then also, even within the realm of education, they're constantly battling over like, how do we break down the old forms of education where you sit in a class and look at a teacher who's supposed to teach to you, which is what I'm doing right now. And how do you make it more interactive and cater to the kids who are growing up in a technological age where they are getting all their information online or on YouTube. So essentially, like, we thought of it actually as a way to educate and teach people around the world, not just kids, but outside of the conventional classroom, which I think is really important. And even playing the videos in my class, I see how engaged the students are with the videos, sometimes a lot more than they are when I'm trying to teach them the curriculum. So it's interesting for me to see exactly how it is working and how kids are interested in YouTube, in the medium of YouTube, to learn. And they get over their immediate us versus them with the teachers. They like YouTube. YouTube's on their side. So are teachers. Sometimes they don't know.
I'm gonna try. So, any other questions that come up for Greg or anyone else here, we're gonna try and like give you a shout out for your name. So, the next question was from. Let's find that question again. I think it was that third link. It was from Super Kick Serve. What do you both enjoy doing in your free time? For me, I still like I am obsessed with science, so that takes up a lot of my free time of just like surfing the internet for new things. I'm a huge Reddit fan, so I'm on Reddit all the time in my spare time, which happens to be a pitfall and it consumes far too much of my time. I'm sure some of you are on Reddit as well, but also I'm a musician. I love to make music and I like to perform and stuff like that. I have another channel of just my music stuff, which is Mitchell Moffat, the YouTube channel, which you can check out. There's a few things up there, and I have like an EP out at mitchellmoffat.com, so you're welcome to check those things out if you want to hear like music and stuff from me. What about you, Greg?
Well, as I said, I went to school and minored in visual art, so I love painting. Not really making sculpture because it's not very practical, but even painting, I need to have a studio, and here in the UK, I don't have any place to paint, so that's kind of frustrating. I also don't have very much time because being a teacher is taking up 13 hours of my day, 6 days a week, which is really hard. But I also am obsessed with music, but on like a different front. I feel you're a brilliant musician, but I'm sort of more interested in like the culture of music. I'm always downloading.
Greg listens to so much music. Like I love playing music and I love singing, but there's usually like one or two musicians that I get obsessed with at a time. But Greg like always has a new musician for me to listen to, and for me it's like I can't keep up with this much music, but for him it's like that is like.
Well, I just like reading like music blogs and sort of trying to like figure out different. Like I don't know. I listen to so much music that I need to have new music, or else I'm gonna get bored. So I usually end up buying albums like free.
Here's a funny question from Bran Van Beaver. Voice from the videos. Yeah, so I opened up a script here so I can give you a taste of the voice. If you haven't already noticed, I am the voice of AsapSCIENCE. So I'll just read the first paragraph from the most recent video. For years, scientists believed that the brain was static, unchanging, and locked, but our understanding has changed drastically to the point where we now see the brain as plastic and constantly changing. But what if I told you that simply thinking could affect not only the way your brain works, but its physical shape and structure as well? It turns out this is exactly what happens. Does that sound like the videos?
How long does it take you to do a video?
Oh, how long does it take? The videos, I mean, sometimes the scripts can take weeks or a month. Like the latest video was based off this book. I'll promo it again. I promise we're not being sponsored by this book. But it's called The Brain That Changes Itself. I was a huge fan of it. And as I was reading it, I was like, I'd love to make a video of a section of this. So something like that type of script like takes a pretty long time because obviously it requires reading a full book, and as you're reading, like there's so much information in there that you're like, how the heck do I synthesize this into one idea that's not overwhelming and not too long? And so the scripting part can be a while, but in terms of filming, usually a few days where we film on the whiteboard and just like record and stuff, and then there's the audio recording and editing, and then you just try and mishmash them together to time up the voice with the script, or sorry, with the video. And then every now and then I try and write a different song. So all those songs that are different, or even the main theme, I wrote myself. And then every now and then I'm like, oh, I feel like this video should have some epic music or something like that. And I just like sit down and spend the evening writing that. Yeah, and it's usually like the last second I'm like, I'm going to write a different song for this. And then I'm up till like 6 in the morning, like stressing out because I've started a song that I'm now like have to finish by 9 in the morning and then upload and all that. So overall, like we're on that sort of weekly basis. For anyone new here, this kind of ties into the survey we sent out. So I'm gonna give a shout out to the survey again. If you go to our Twitter, we put a survey monkey up there, twitter.com/AsapScience. We would love if you guys give us some feedback on there. You know what you like about AsapSCIENCE, what you don't like, and then just some. It's 10 questions. Most of them are multiple choice. So we would really appreciate it if you answer those things. That'd be great.
Ryan Mahoney, at R Mahoney98 asked, what's your favorite topic that you've made a video about? Mine, I know what mine is. Mine
go first.
Scientific power of music, because I thought that was just such an interesting topic, and I find that I'm reflecting back on it every time I hear a new song, especially like a pop song, and it explains how it changes register and kind of like releases the dopamine, and I think it's interesting how you can get addicted to songs by actually like physiologically becoming addicted to it. So I think I really enjoyed that topic, researching it, and it's also something that I reflect on when I listen to music, so it's sort of something I constantly engage in. And I think there's room to do more within that field of research, even though it was really tough synthesizing that script, because the research there, it's kind of minimal and kind of abstract, but I really thought that was interesting.
Before I answer that question, there was another quick question that popped up that said, from Jessica Go, I don't know if that's how you say your name, but it says, are you reading the comments like on YouTube or just the Twitter feed? We have like multiple people here trying to help us sort of find all these questions. So we are checking Twitter, we are checking the YouTube comments, and we are checking Facebook, kind of. So hopefully we'll get to your question if you're asking one. I'll answer the first question was, what's my favorite video? I think, well, the one that haunts me the most is the one on procrastination, because as I did it, I was like, now I know why I'm procrastinating, but no matter how much you know about procrastination or productivity, your body kind of decides what you want to do, and it's good to obviously practice those skills. But whenever I know I'm procrastinating, now I'm like, oh, I'm the guy who made a video about how to stop procrastinating, and here I am like surfing Twitter and surfing Reddit for hours at a time. So I mean, that one, I feel like that one was good in a way, and it is helpful to think about those skills, and so I liked that one a lot. But it does sort of, it follows me wherever I go and whenever I'm not working. Another question from 981 Chocolate on YouTube says, you both live in Canada. We're both from Canada, but Greg, I'll let him kind of explain his situation.
I'm currently living in a place called Folkestone, which is in the UK, where I am teaching the equivalent of Canadian grades 6, 7, 8 science. So I do not live in Canada, but I'm living here just sort of renting month by month, temporarily, not sure when I'm going to go home. I can only stay here 2 years legally. So yeah, I do live in Canada. That is my home. I love it.
And now, so I do live in Canada, and what was I going to say? Oh, well, now that, when Greg left to go teach, AsapSCIENCE was just starting, and we didn't know what was going to happen, if people are going to like it. And now it's kind of like, it's turning into this really cool thing where so many people are sharing it and watching it, and we're like, I know Greg, not that he wants to come home and leave his job, but we definitely both want to be as involved as we can. So hopefully at some point he'll be able to come back to Canada, and we can both be filming, and we can use, his studio art degree would probably be useful while I'm filming. So that I'm looking forward to him coming back to do that. I think.
Yes, I might be back sooner rather than later. We don't really know.
Daniel Perlata, asked what's your favorite book.
Okay, Daniel Perlata, what is your favorite book? It depends. So for me, I don't love fiction books. I love reading books like the book we just read, The Brain That Changes Itself, because I love to just sort of constantly be learning. But having said that, I am a massive Harry Potter fan. And so, as a series, that was one of the most enjoyable books I've ever read, and was the one exception to the rule where I was I probably do really like fiction books, I just haven't read enough of them. So I know that's typical, and probably a lot of people say that, but Harry Potter is probably my favorite series of books. And then even this book on the top of my head, The Brain That Changes Itself, it really changed my perspective on people's capabilities, and how they go through the book how people with strokes, these new therapies they're coming out with, and how the brain is so changeable and plastic, and it makes you have hope for, it makes you feel like you can do anything and you can learn anything, no matter what your current circumstance, if you have the right motivation and the right set of skills or way to learn, or if you just really want to learn and become something, then you can do it. What about you, Greg?
I know one of my favorite books is Stones from the River, which I read in the year before I went to university, whatever age that was. I remember that book really affected me, and it is a fiction book. I agree with Mitch. I do like nonfiction books as well, because it's sort of interesting to read something that you can sort of adapt to real life. But I think Stones from the River is one of my favorites. And obviously I love Harry Potter. Who doesn't? That's why I'm in the UK. I thought it would be like Harry Potter.
All right, I saw another question on YouTube there a second ago. I think someone had said, Well, greetings from Romania. That's Mati710. So,
I
hello.
want to go to Romania.
We think it's so awesome that, like, YouTube is so cool because you can watch videos from everywhere and videos can be spread everywhere. One thing we should mention is we're trying to translate our videos into as many languages as possible. We have like a translation team and people from all over, but if you don't see your language on any of the videos and you'd like to be part of that translation caption team, just email us at asapcaption@gmail.com. And we'll add you to that team, and you're welcome to sort of help us translate it into your language. That would be awesome. We love getting more people onto that. And some Sean Step says, you guys gave me an interest in science, which we think is, yeah, thank you so much. We think that's really cool. At the end of the day, that's like why we want to do this. And we both felt lucky. Like, we didn't go to high school together, Greg and I, but I think we both had some pretty great science high school teachers, and so that inspired us. But not every teacher you get in your life is going to be great or amazing. And so it's nice now that the internet exists that you can kind of get that inspiration from another person. And our style might not be for you and someone else's might be, but it's awesome that you don't just have to restrict yourself to one teacher. And so I think because we felt like we did have really good, you know, like biology and chemistry and physics teachers, that changed our lives and kicked us on this path of like being involved in science. And so that's all we want to do now, is be like, you know, if we just give people the chance, if people like our style, then maybe it'll inspire them to like science.
And I think also, as coming from the perspective of a teacher, it can be very frustrating for teachers and students to have to teach science within the realms of like a curriculum, because a lot of the time it's not necessarily easy to make a subject interesting or to follow the guidelines that have been set for the teacher from higher ups. So it's really great because you can inspire people to like science by giving them the things that are interesting to them without having to worry about the pressures of a curriculum. So that's what the videos are really great, because they're probably inspiring more people to like science because they're able to cater to like things that human beings are interested in. Whereas if you're not engaged in science at school, it might be for a variety of reasons, and one could be that your teacher is trying to teach something that maybe they're not that interested in because they have to. So it's nice that we don't have a curriculum to follow. Now we can make videos based on your comments and your interests that you're giving us, and also just based on what we think would be interesting to people.
Okay, so somebody else, Mega Loy, or LOL, LOL, 555 says, for the 300,000 subs, you should make a compilation of random facts about anything. That's a good idea. Our last Max video did really well, and people seem to like that, so that's potential. We're just trying to figure out, like, when will we hit 300,000 subscribers, and what should we do? So yeah, if any of you guys have other suggestions, message us, tweet us, whatever, and we'll hopefully be able to do one of those ideas.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I have a question from Sokas Konstantinos at KO Stats 21. This is a hard question, but it's a good question.
We're prepared for hard questions.
Which do you think is the best way to learn scientific or other facts or ideas every day? The internet, university, relationships, books, etc.
All of the above. I think everyone here is agreeing that if you can expose yourself to as many ways of learning as possible, I think you get the maximum benefit. And the hard thing about teaching is that everybody learns in such different ways, and so expecting to get as much out of a video or a book as someone else, like, you could have a completely different experience. And so, but at the same time, one way might not just be the only way. You know, your brain will be stimulated in different ways by reading versus watching a video versus, you know, going on the internet and finding papers and scientific journals and things like that. So my perspective about learning is just expose yourself to as much as possible, because that's kind of the best way to do it.
And if you do know yourself well enough to know what works best for you, because it won't be the same for everyone.
You definitely know, like, for some people, they know, like, reading, and they need to take notes while they're doing it, and that helps them, you know, keep in mind. But I would also say practice the things you're not good at, because that's really just going to expand your brain to be able to learn in different ways. So you might not like reading, but when you start to read and practice reading, you get better at it, you become, you know, more comfortable with it, and you learn better from it over time. So, and I think these types of mediums, like, actually exercise your brain in different ways and in different portions of your brain. So, you know, even like doing physical activities, whether they're experiments and stuff, you're gonna learn so much more in a different way than, say, reading a book. So definitely try as much as you can. One thing I want to say is I have a little plug. I'm going to take my name down here. And so some people had nominated us for this thing called a Shorty Award. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it before, but I'm going to put. It's basically like online awards for social media. It's held by some like real celebrities and stuff. And so some people had nominated us, and then I was like, oh, cool, I hadn't heard about this before. So if you guys have Twitter, you do have to have Twitter to do this. I'm going to write, it's shortyawards.com/AsapSCIENCE, and that link will pop up on my screen right now. Is that spelled correctly? Let's see. Shortyawards.com. Yeah. So if you can go there, and you scroll down a little bit, it'll have a little tweet box, and if you tweet us and nominate us in the field of science, we would love you so much. So that, I don't know, I just thought it was pretty cool. We're like in 8th or something right now, but there's a couple hundred people here, almost 300, so if you all go vote right now, we'll catch up. We'll be, doing pretty well. So I'll leave that link there, and it would be really, really super awesome. No more plugs. I'll try not to plug anything else. A question from Joe on Twitter, or iMasters. Will you be at any of the big conventions that normally attract YouTubers this year? I'd love to come meet you. I hope so. I think Playlist is coming up at the end of March or middle of March. I don't know for sure if I'm going yet, but I really, really want to. I was there last year before we even started the channel, just as like a fan, and loved it. So hopefully this year I can go and meet some YouTubers and some of you guys if you're around there. And then I've never been to VidCon, but I would love to go this year. So hopefully, I know Greg's in the UK, so he probably can't come to Playlist, but he should be back when VidCon's on. So it would be cool if we could, meet a bunch of you guys and hopefully other YouTubers. So VidCon's where it's at, but also Playlist. I don't know, are there any other YouTube conventions that people go to? I'm not sure. If there are, let us know.
Maybe there's one in the UK and I can go.
Yeah, if there's one in the UK. I know that. I don't know that there is, but there probably is some meetings. I think someone earlier, I can't remember the name, asked about like a meetup in real life. Maybe that's a potential. We hadn't thought about it. If I know some YouTubers hold like these events where they can meet people who watch their videos. So yeah, let us know. Tweet us if you'd like that to happen. It'd either be like in the Toronto area in Canada or in the UK, London area. For now, anyway. Maybe eventually, we can go on the road and meet you guys. But yeah, I think that'd be fun to meet a bunch of you. All right. Next question on YouTube from N Drool. Good name. How different are you from Khan Academy? Pretty different, I think. I think Khan Academy is like pretty specific and really geared towards the stuff you're actually learning in school. So, like, I used Khan Academy all the time. I just love watching them. They're really in-depth and really cover more specific science and higher-level science and math and things like that. Whereas sort of our goal with ASAP Science is to appeal to this broader audience that may not even have a simple background in science, but we think we can show them that it's really awesome and really fun. So we try to keep them, accessible. Sometimes we use a lot of scientific terminology, and we try not to because we know some people may not have that sort of background. But generally, I think that's the difference. We're sort of like, this is how we can hopefully get people interested in science, and then when they really, really want to learn more, they can go to like Khan Academy and get the in-depth detail that like we would have studied at university. And to think that that's for free on the internet is pretty incredible. And Ahmed93M asks, which university did you graduate from? We both went to a place called the University of Guelph. It's in Canada. Yeah, it's an amazing university. And then we both had the same degree, but separate like minors. Like Greg did Stuttgart, and we both did a biological science.
And also, you're from Guelph.
Yeah, but we don't tell people on the internet that. So forget that. But yeah, so it's an amazing university. It's one of the best in Canada, I think, and it's been nominated a lot of times as one of the best in Canada. So, especially if you want to like go into veterinary medicine, which
comprehensive university.
What's that?
It's known as a good comprehensive.
It's like the best vet program in the world. And I originally went for animal biology, thinking I'd want to be a vet, and then that changed. But it's still supposed to be one of a really good program for veterinary medicine. All right, what other questions have we? Have people voted on the Shorty Awards? I'm gonna go.
I'm seeing them fly through on
Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
they have.
I'm gonna go check it out and see what we're at.
There's a lot of people.
Thank you guys so much. All right, yeah, we got like 10 more votes. That's sweet. Okay, yeah. So if you're on Twitter, go to that Shorty Awards link that we have there, and feel free to vote for us and give us a little boost in that competition. That would be wicked. Cool. Any other questions that we can find? Let's look at Facebook. I don't know if people were asking there. Craig, do you see any good questions?
Maybe you can ask your audience some questions.
Oh, yeah,
like
actually.
how can they share things?
Yeah, sure. One thing we've been wondering is, well, what do you guys use ASAP Science for? Is it because it's fun and entertaining and you just want to like get a laugh out of it and have a little good time, or are you actually using it for education and you find that it's lining up with the stuff you're learning, or is it inspiring you to go and learn more? So, like, what are you using ASAP Science for?
Someone here at Muse HD said that my school uses your videos to revise biology topics. Thank you.
Oh, that's really cool. Good to know. Yeah, it's awesome to know, and I think Greg sometimes uses our videos as well in his classes, and it's definitely, hopefully, a way to engage people and at least introduce them to a topic. But yeah, ultimately, we just kind of want to get a sense of, you know, what are you using it for? It can just be
curious which of those videos you'd use to revise biology, because I think it's kind of interesting because if you're actually using them in a class for revision, it means that there's probably some pathway involved. So I wonder if it's the sort of coffee and alcohol make you pee one, sort of those more in-depth physiological ones, because that might be actually a really good tool for when you actually have to learn pathways.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
a lot of the other videos don't necessarily have revision topics, but those ones do. So I'd be curious which videos you use in the classroom if you did.
Yeah. Which kind of videos do you guys like the most? Is it the ones that are kind of quirky and funny and on topics that you wouldn't necessarily learn in school, or do you like it when it's the ones that are, what causes motion sickness, or what are the effects of alcohol in the body, so you can kind of follow on those pathways? Let us know which kind of videos you like. Yeah, you can. If for people who are maybe just joining now, you can message us on Twitter, on YouTube we have open the comments as well, and on Facebook we're kind of sifting through these to try and find.
2 people wrote, what kind of music do you guys like, and do you play any instruments? And someone else at YP95 said, what's your favorite music, your favorite artist, songs, albums, composition? Bjork!
Oh yeah, we're both big fans of Bjork. And she actually has an album out recently that was like science inspired, and she developed this app where you actually like learn and experience biology and all these sorts of things while you're listening to her music. So if you haven't, it's called Biophilia. If you haven't heard of that, go check out Bjork. She's definitely a huge inspiration because she is a musician who is really interested in like the natural world and stuff like that. I do play an instrument. I play piano and I sing as well. And so that's kind of like my hobby. Someone asked earlier. I have linked in my music account on our YouTube channel. If you ever want to check that out, you're welcome to. Is there another question here? Whose voice? Yeah, Q&L3 News is just saying whose voice is it, and that voice is mine. We did a, yeah, and my hands. Do you recognize them? Those are the hands from ASAP Science. Yeah. Usually, I talk a little bit differently in the videos. I try to be really super articulate because you can't see my mouth. But yeah, so that's my voice.
It's just a comment from Joe, I guess.
Oh, so Joe says, my teacher loves your videos. We watch them as a class every week. That's super cool. We encourage you guys all to let your teachers know about it. And maybe you can watch more YouTube videos in class because YouTube's pretty awesome. And if you can find the really interesting educational videos, why not use them in your class? The Okanovs asked, do you think that we need to learn just what we want and school system is entirely wrong? That's a pretty big question. Definitely school has a really, really, really important role. We could probably talk for hours on this, and Greg probably has a lot to say. But what I'll say is that school is set up in a way to give you skills that you need to then find jobs and get into the workplace and sort of get a basic education in English and math and in the arts and stuff. So it's a nice foundation, because if you weren't exposed to certain subjects and you weren't forced to, you might actually never come across them. So, some people are scared to take science or math because they think it's too hard, but school kind of makes you. And I know that can kind of suck when you're in school at the time, but if you were never exposed to it and you were meant to love it, you might actually kind of miss out on that. So I think school has a really important role for sure. Greg?
Yeah, I think it is a really interesting question. It's a question that you can go into a lot of depth about. But I think that essentially school is really important in the framework of society and actually creating people's ability to function and communicate. Like, it's not just about what you're learning. It's also important that you go and learn how to actually become social beings. So I think school is really important for a lot of things outside of just like the classes that you take, because you have to go and you have to learn how to interact properly. And I feel like teachers and students all are constantly learning from each other and constantly learning lots of things that you might not think that you're learning. So I think school as an institution is important. But as a teacher, I see lots of pitfalls in how it can be outdated, and I think there's lots of ways that students are needing to be taught in different ways now. That could involve engaging them in things that they want to learn and not being forced to learn certain things. So I think I will leave it at that, but I have lots to say on that.
Yeah,
and it's something that I'm constantly struggling with.
Or hopefully, like, one of the things we're wondering is, like, do you like these type of Google Hangouts? That was one of the questions. If you saw the Survey Monkey we put out on Twitter, yes, I'm plugging it again. One of the questions is about these Hangouts, and we've been thinking maybe we can, answer more questions about the recent videos or just have chats about, science and education and stuff. So let us know if you want us to do this more regularly. Maybe it's once a week, maybe it's once a month that we just kind of come out here and hang out with you guys and answer any questions you have and just talk to you. One cool kind of segue question that popped up a minute ago from Bamboo Gamer. What do you guys think about gamifying education? I think that's a really cool concept, actually. Especially, there are a lot of people that learn extremely well or can keep their attention engaged through games. And obviously, there's a lot of controversy into how games affect young people and how they can become obsessed and spend a lot of time. But if there was a way that we could legitimately integrate education into games that were still fun, because I think a lot of the times the problem is when people try to make games like education games, like, they're not actually fun. I think that could have amazing benefits. I don't know. There's probably pitfalls as well. But, if playing, or doing homework could give you credits in, like, Call of Duty or something like that, like, I think that would be a huge motivation for people, because they would, like, if it was integrated into the gaming system, they already are obsessed or they really love playing games, and if you can integrate learning into that, I think that would be really, really interesting. Greg, what do you think about that being a teacher in school?
Yeah, no, I think it is obviously interesting. I think games are something that teachers should try and incorporate into their classes. I think if you're talking about, like, online games and, like, Call of Duty and things like that, it's interesting because a lot of the population of students in class will talk about it all the time and ask me if I play those games, because it's something that I can tell that they spend a lot of time doing. So, of course, if there was education being brought into them and it meant that they were going to spend more time learning through that medium, of course that would be really great. But I don't know how to make the fine line of making yourself still interested in it while trying to be taught something. So I don't know. It's definitely something I think is worth thinking about, but I don't know how it would do. It's out of my league.
Yeah, it's definitely, at least the internet can kind of, like, facilitate that, right? Like, it doesn't have, not all learning has to take place inside the school, and so maybe that's the job of, people who, like, have all these unique thoughts and are game developers and want to make a difference. And you don't always have to necessarily conform to the school system, but you can still, teach people in the games you're developing and have nothing to do with, like, the education system, but hopefully still have an effect on people and be entertained.
Someone at Jesper178696064 asked, what does ASAP stand for? Does it have any meaning whatsoever?
Yes. It stands for as soon as possible. So the whole idea was, like, just a fast way to get people interested, like short little videos that are just kind of a kickstarter into your interest in science. So the whole idea, just stands for as soon as possible. We love science. We want to get as much of it as we can as soon as we can.
Immediate science. I thought it was named after the rap artist ASAP Rocky, but it's...
Oh, yeah. We've gotten a lot of like compliments. I just want to say we are looking at them all and reading them, so thank you guys so much. I don't want to have to sit here and like read out compliments to us, but thank you guys. I'm gonna like make sure I go. We're all trying to like on different devices here, trying to read Facebook, Twitter, and whatever. So I'm gonna go after this and like read everything you guys have tweeted and said. So be assured that your tweet or message won't be forgotten.
Someone, Benar Ali, said that he actually used the videos for revision for his GCSE science. So, and someone else said that they actually used the brain on drugs to engage in class. So that's good to know that they actually are being used in school.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. I'm trying to think if we have any other questions. I guess I'll bring up another question that was in the survey. One thing we were wondering, if you watched our last video, you would have noticed, like the video called The Power of Thought. We did sort of, not a collaboration, but we were working with audible.com, and so they've sort of like given us some support to be able to make the videos and to keep making them. But we're just curious what people's thoughts are on that, because we don't want to make the videos too addy, or we don't want to intrude on the content. So we always make sure it's at the end of the video if it comes in. And hopefully the whole idea is like they can sort of, they offer our audience a free book, and we usually integrate the book into like the video that we've been doing. So the last, excuse me guys, the last video we did was based off that book, The Brain That Changes Itself, and so we promoted that book, and then you could go to audible.com to check it out. But I know some people like hate ads and don't want to do that. Ultimately for us, we want to find the best way to do it that people, it's not too intrusive on the videos and it's not annoying, but also keep in mind that like it's a way that we can keep making more videos, and like they're supporting us financially, and so we just want to find a balance with that relationship with you guys and see what your thoughts are on it. So you can either message us, tweet or whatever, what your thoughts are on that, or if you go into the Survey Monkey, there's actually like room to just speak your mind and write as much as you want in that space to let us know how you think about that. That would be really cool to get some feedback on there, because we do get lots of different companies and organizations coming in sort of saying, hey, we'd love to be part of your videos. Like, how can we help and how can we integrate? And so our first instinct is, we don't want to like annoy people, like they're here to see science videos. But if there's a good way to integrate it, and if you guys can enjoy it, then I think that would be awesome, because then we can, it kind of makes it easier for us to keep doing these videos. Neil Fraser, Zach said,
bunch of others.
how old are you guys? Oh, so Neil,
To the one and all.
yeah, so many people have asked this. I am 24, turning 25 in March.
And I'm 24, turning 25 in September, so I'm the younger one.
Yeah, and that's why I'm much, much smarter. Another question from Jester and Rays. How do you do research for your topics? Books, online, everything. Honestly, a lot of the ideas come in like our personal time or from seeing your guys' comments. So if I see, it's great when you guys thumbs up the topics you like a lot in the YouTube comments, because we go through and we're like, oh, a lot of people want to learn about this. And then we go to, scientific journal websites. I try and look up books in the library and just see like what sort of resources we can find on this. And it's basically just a mix of everything. The hardest part is then, of course, finding like a way to explain like a basic concept, because obviously a book holds so much information and a journal is so specific and detailed with scientific experiments and sort of processes. But ultimately, like the amount of things we look at before making the videos makes me go crazy sometimes, because I'm like, I want to put it all in, but it can't all fit. So how do I change this? So
and you start researching it, and then it leads to sort of another concept that you didn't originally want to make the video about.
yeah,
and
exactly.
Also, like, should I make it about that because that's interesting?
Yeah, half the time I'm like researching and another idea comes up, so I open another window and start another script, and then it just gets worse and worse. You're like, oh, but that's also such a cool idea, and I'm gonna start like taking notes here and like saving this for later, and it can get to be a bit of a mess, but it's fun, and it's a really fun way to sort of learn and force yourself. Like, we don't know every single topic, obviously, we're not experts in all those areas, but you look to the experts, you look to those books and papers, and you kind of find that stuff and learn so much while you're reading or watching videos.
Someone said, can you make a video a week, or are you guys too busy? So that's our
We make a video a week. If that's, I'm not sure if that's what you mean. So it's usually like between Tuesday and Thursday, we upload a video once a week on one of those days. We've debated, should we post more videos a week? Do you guys want more videos a week? Yeah, so the survey actually had that exact question in it as well. So I'm actually, I'm going to tweet that survey link one more time on Twitter. And if you could go in there and let us know how many videos you want a week, that would be awesome. The survey link again.
Ryan has asked this question twice. Have you thought about using Google Moderator to let users vote on topics?
Oh, I actually, it was Google Moderator. I don't know if you guys could hear from here, but have we thought about using Google Moderator to let users vote on topics? I actually haven't heard of Google Moderator, so I'm going to go Google that right now. And we'll look into that. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it.
Google Moderator.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea if it's able to, like, generate. Oh, this is cool. Okay, I'll look through that, and if it looks like a good way to do it, because ultimately, yeah, we want to know what you guys want to learn. Sometimes we think there's topics where, you know, we might have learned in school that you wouldn't necessarily think to ask, or we just read a book and we love to share it. So not all the topics are based on, like, suggestions, but we have hundreds of suggestions, and hopefully we can spend many, many years answering all of these suggestions. But I'll check out that Google Moderator. Thank you.
Foreign languages? Let's speak foreign languages.
So from Zed Sophie 1234. Do either of you know a second multiple language?
We don't.
Unfortunately not. I mean, we're from Canada, so we were taught basic French. So our country is bilingual. For those of you who don't know about Canada, where people speak English and French, but where we're from is predominantly English, and after like grade 9, you don't have to take French anymore. And I sincerely regret not taking it after grade 9, but I was too young and foolish to know that I would wish I could speak another language.
Plasticity tells you you can do it.
Oh, exactly. This book that is on the brain plasticity.
You can now.
It's definitely, younger people can cling easier to new languages, but it's never, ever too late to learn anything new. So for those of you who don't speak multiple languages, just like Greg or I, it's never too late. And so I have had a motivation to want to learn a language. It's hard if you're not surrounded by people who, you know, speak that language. So maybe one day, you know, I'll go away for a long time and you know, kind of immerse yourself in that language, and that's probably the best way to learn it. There's a question from Hello Tacos. Have you heard of new tech? If you have, what are your thoughts on it? I don't know what that is. Greg, do you?
New tech. I don't know. Should we Google new tech?
Hello Tacos. Why don't you send us a message about what new tech is, and we'll check it out, and then hopefully we'll find it interesting.
New technology? Sounds cool.
Okay, so Tiger NH9 says, if science wouldn't be a part of your life, what would you see yourself doing right now?
How about I guess yours and you guess mine?
Okay. Yeah. What?
I think that you would be a starving musician.
Yeah. Yours is way easier than mine. Well, I guess, yeah, that's probably true. I would be a starving musician.
Or maybe a very successful musician.
Well, hopefully a full musician. No, yeah, I love music, and I still do music. Obviously, AsapSCIENCE takes up a lot of my time now, but it's still always going to be a passion, and if I could turn that into, like, a career, or if I could turn that into a way to live my life, I would love to do that. What about Greg? What would his life be?
I'd be the president.
No, he would. I think. Oh man, I don't know. I actually don't know. Like, you have so many different interests. Like, music is a huge interest of his, but like not necessarily playing music, but like being involved in like music critique and movie critiques you're obsessed with, and like watching so many different movies and like intellectual movies and stuff. So I think, but you're also a teacher. I mean, if you weren't teaching science, maybe you'd be teaching art. Maybe you'd be teaching something else. So that's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good point. I guess I would be teaching something else. And I still do really want to teach art. So I guess if you eliminated all science, my obsession with art would have flourished, and then I would have been an art teacher. Or I would totally be okay with being a film critic. But that's probably a hard thought.
Okay, so we might be going for like another 5 or 10 minutes maybe. Is that okay, do you think? Yeah? So, you know, get in your last minute questions to us. For anyone who may have just joined randomly, I'm Mitch, and I'm the hands and voice of ASAP Science, and that's Greg, who's like the other member who helps write scripts and film and stuff like that too. And we're just here answering questions and seeing how everyone's doing and having some fun. So tweet us, Facebook us, right on YouTube, and we'll hopefully get to your question.
Daniel wants to know how much money you spend on markers a month.
Well, luckily they last for a really long time, but I go to the dollar store all the time to look for supplies. So I'm like, oh man, like I need a Rubik's Cube, like I need to go to the dollar store, and then I come home and I'm like, and I need something else, like now I have to go and get. But the dollar store's great because it's very, very cheap, and there's markers there, and you can get like plasticine and Play-Doh and all that kind of creative stuff. So the markers last long enough that I haven't really had to change them very often, but probably will need a new shipment soon. So yeah. So if any of you work with marker companies and want to sponsor ASAP Science, please contact us.
Or send you at least just like a crate.
But seriously, I'm being honest. If you work for any marker company, you can contact us.
Survey link.
Yeah. Oh yes. Is that? I don't know if it'll go from you. I'm going to post the survey link one last time on Facebook. So Greg, I'll let you just sort of handle the channel for it, or the talking for a second.
Someone said, could you make a video about space and time travel? I think space is a really interesting part of science that we actually haven't really delved into much at all. But I think that definitely that's something that we should probably think about doing in the future. I think space and time can be a pretty complex thing to break down in the realms of science. But I still think that there's a lot that would be interesting to the general public. And I think we've covered it a bit with the scientific facts, but it'd be cool to make a video.
Well, if you love physics, make sure, if you aren't already, go subscribe to Minute Physics. He has like an amazing channel, and he's like a physics whiz and a math whiz.
And he does cover concepts like space and time.
Yeah, and those we are so interested in them, but I mean it's not our direct background, but that doesn't mean we'll never make a video about it. But if you have the urge to learn that stuff, I definitely suggest checking his channel out if you haven't already, and that's Minute Physics.
I'm teaching physics right now in class, and I use his videos a lot. Redshift, and cosmic background radiation, all that cool stuff.
Yeah, one of our very first video was like a physics topic of how you can hear and see the Big Bang in real life, if you want to, through the static on your TV and radio. So if you go back to our very, very first video, you can understand how the heck that's possible. How are we doing for any last-minute questions? Any really good ones out there?
Speed of smell.
Is there a speed of smell? Cuffs the villain asks.
I guess not, because it would depend on how thick the gas.
Yeah, it's like the dilution rate of like the particles in the air, but that would probably be a fun video to mess around with, and you know, how fast does different smells travel?
You're alluding to the science of farts.
Yeah, there we go. Somebody asked, who is the woman we're hearing? So if you missed it before, I'll introduce, there's two other people here with me. This is Tessa, one of our friends, and this is Ilona.
Hello.
And so basically they've just been helping us find questions, because obviously there's all these different platforms, and we're looking through the questions, and so they've been helping me look at different questions that you guys are asking, and they've been helping with ASAP Science and stuff like that, so these girls are awesome. We're all a team. Okay. Well, I think I'll look one last time at our Twitter and see.
They asked about collaborations.
Collaborations, yeah, I mean,
What's your favorite video game, Mitch? You can say that.
Oh, well, I'll say collaborations first, because the video game question is probably more important. Collaborations, we would love to, yeah. At this point, like now, I'm starting to message other people and see who wants to, and I want to get to know people first, because it's hard to just sort of say, hey, do you want to collaborate with me? You've never met me, you don't know who I am or how I work, and so now that our channel has kind of like, you know, got its name out there, people have watched the videos, you know, hopefully we can collaborate. So if you have your like a favorite YouTuber or someone you watch all the time, definitely tweet at us and them and just be like, hey, you guys should do a collaboration, because maybe we haven't heard of that channel and we'd love to collaborate with them. So you guys can help facilitate our collaborations. Yeah, and the last question, And then I have one more thing to say is, what is your favorite video games? Did video games and their developments affect your thoughts on science? My favorite video game in the world is Zelda. Every single one of them, of course. Yeah,
Mine
like
too.
Zelda is the greatest game of all time, as many polls will tell you. If you haven't played it, go and play them all. Even if you have to like start with Ocarina of Time at least, because that's one of the best, most classic games of all time. And I'm not sure if it had a direct effect on my views of science, but most definitely inspired me. It has that sort of exploring feel, and you just go out there and you're like in this world and finding things out and learning about different races and different, like, you know, it's puzzle solving. So it probably had a major effect on the way that I think and, you know, my interests and things like that. Craig, what about you? Do you have a favorite video game?
I don't have a favorite video game because I never had a video game system. Whole different story. I was a deprived child in that sense. So I don't have a favorite video game.
That's okay. Wait, no, I'm trying to think of... no, yeah, you don't have a favorite game.
I'm only good at like Mario Kart.
Yeah. Well, that's a good game. We love that game. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. So I first just want to say, like, thank you everyone so much for coming in to join this. If you haven't already, go check out the Survey Monkey that we sent out where you can just answer questions that'll help us even decide, like, do you want to... us to do more Google Hangouts? Do you like doing this? Do you like asking science questions and us coming on to explain maybe the most recent video and how often should we do it and things like that? Or just if you have thoughts on what would make ASAP Science better. Do you want merch? Do you want like ASAP Science t-shirts or DVDs or a book or something like that? So I'm like spitting everywhere here. Let me know. So make sure you check out that link. On my name description here, I have theshortyawards.com. If you want to go there and vote for us as well, that would be really wicked. It's just for like an online social media competition. Is there any other links? I think that's it.
I think that's it.
So I think we'll end this now. And again, thank you for the ones who came and stayed the whole time. And I know some people are coming in and out, but it's been really great to do this. A lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun. Don't forget, even if we're not online on a Google Hangout, you can always just tweet us, Facebook us, and message us on YouTube. So, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I could do a screen capture right now. Let's see. I don't even know how to do it on this computer. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much, and we'll hopefully see you soon, and hopefully you look forward to the next video.
Thank you.
All right. See you later.
Bye.